everyone! Welcome back! So, I'm sorry that I'm posting this a little bit late, but my allergies have just been insane, which is just really great timing that my allergies have decided to flare up during a pandemic. But, you know, it is what it is. So this is probably our last video as a whole group, and then I will go into more detailed, like 2 or 3 minute videos that I'll make to help instruct per book. But since there's no real reading assignment assigned to this specific week, I just decided to save us all some time, mostly me, and just make a general video for my 11th graders one more time. So first, I want to go over anything that's been new with you. I know this is a YouTube video, so we can't really talk, so I'll just tell you what's new with me, and then if anything weird has happened to you in the last few weeks, please drop it and comment it or text it to me and remind, because I'm just as quarantined as you are. So in my quarantine time, I watched a show on Netflix that I'm sure you've all watched, and it is called Tiger King. Whoa! Who wants to take a field trip to Big Cat Rescue? It's just crazy. It's so weird. So if you haven't watched Tiger King, watch it, but forgive me for recommending that you watch it, because I watched it all in one day, and I've never felt that many different emotions all in one day. It's quite the show. It's quite the show. So I also baked some bread and a cake, but I'm quarantined, so that means that I just eat the bread and the cake all by myself. So this has just been a really great time for me. Okay, let's talk about class. So Zoom, I've been getting some questions about it because I know that there's been like some weird stuff happening with Zoom, because apparently predators can't just like make online school even more difficult for us. I don't really think it's going to be an issue for us. I think that it's happened a couple of times and people freaked out. I'm still planning on using it, but if you or your parent is uncomfortable with you using it, I will find something different just for you. And I'm not being sarcastic with that. I don't mind finding something different for you. I still think it's the most convenient option. So if you guys are okay with trying it, we'll try it. Obviously, I don't want anything to happen because that'd be really weird and uncomfortable for everybody in the situation. But if Zoom is just not an option for you and you reach out and you end up needing to contact me more than just remind or an email, we can try Google Speak, or worst comes to worst, we'll just do Skype and we'll figure it out from there. So if you're nervous about Zoom, it's totally okay. If we end up needing to video conference, we'll figure something out. So I want to just do a general review of the due dates, and then I'm going to go through a few book-by-book specifics. That way everything general is done, and you can just fast forward to whatever book pertains to you. So I gave you guys all your book outline and your schedule. If you haven't heard, we are officially out of school until May 1st. If we go back, this is still our semester. I'm just going to keep it the same regardless. So you don't need to panic. You don't need to worry about it. This is your semester. It's not going to change. If we go back to class on May 1st, then you can bring technology with you, or I will adapt it, but it's still going to be these same assignments with the same book. There is no more change coming at you. There's been enough change with your education. You don't need any more. There are no more surprises with my class. When we get to the final project, we get to the final project, but it's so pared down from what it is that it'll take you guys like maybe a day to do it. So I'll introduce the final probably in May, because you don't need to worry about it right now, so just don't worry. Other than that, I know you guys are super stressed out, and it's okay to be stressed out, but you also, someone just texted me, never mind. None of you. So it's okay to be stressed out, but just know that this class should not be a source of stress for you. Nothing that we're doing in it is new. It's all very familiar. We're using technology that you recognize, technology that's, if Google crashes, we have a bigger issue than our classroom, so we should be safe. It's all very predictable. If you'll notice, it's all pretty much the same week by week. I'm going to assign everything, like any resources that you might need. So if you need new vocab for that week, everything will be posted new at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. And you will have until 2 p.m. on Friday to turn it all in. With the exception of the discussion posts, which you guys practiced this week. The discussion posts, they were a grade this week. I'm not going to make them a grade for the rest of the quarter. They are attendance. So if you don't do it, your grade won't be affected, but I'm going to mark you absent all week. So do yourself a favor, do the discussion question, submit it. It's not going to be for points because I don't want to put another grade in for you guys, just because you've already got a ton going in for all of this. So discussion posts are still crucial because that is attendance. So answer that as soon as possible. Everything else is due Friday at 2. And I will post all of this in a written form in the comments of this video on Google Classroom. So everything will be assigned 7 a.m. It'll be due 2 p.m. on Friday. So you have a full school week to get it done. That way it's mimicking your normal schedule. I think that's all. Oh, obviously you can still contact me through Remind. You can contact me through email if you absolutely have to, but if you're going to email me, send me a Remind message as well, because I get more emails than I know what to do with these days, so make sure that you tell me. Sorry, my nose is stuffy. You can schedule a phone call with me if you're really, really stuck, and that'll be some sort of video chat, and we can do that through either Zoom or through a Google Speak. It'll just depend. My office hours for those are 9 to 12. So Monday through Friday, 9 to 12, if you send me a message, I will answer you as quickly as I can. You will get an almost immediate response, because if I'm working on someone else's problem, you're going to have to wait until their problem is solved. But 9 to 12 are my dedicated, I'm answering student and parent questions during that time period. Any other time, I might be grading, I might be in a meeting with colleagues, I could be doing things that pertain to my personal life or my master's degree, but 9 to 12 every single day is your time. Well, not every day, Monday through Friday, every work day. So that is my contact. Now we're going to move on to book by book. So I'm going to do Alas Babylon, then I'm going to do 1984, and then I'm going to say some stuff about Caged Bird. So if you are not in Alas Babylon, go ahead and fast forward to your section. If you are, stay right here, and then you're free to X out of this video or rewatch it for your viewing pleasure. So Alas Babylon, it is probably the easiest read of all of them, but that doesn't mean that it's not still a great book or something that you can still learn a lot from. It is a post-apocalyptic nuclear war what-if scenario, and it takes place north of Orlando. So it takes place, actually technically it's between Orlando and Tampa. So if you think about it, it basically takes place in Lakeland, which is a really, really cool aspect to this book, because we can all understand what they're seeing, and when it's really hot out, we get it. We know how hot it is. So it's this end of the world idea, and I feel like it's extra fitting right now, because while this coronavirus is far from being the end of the world, it kind of feels a little bit like the end of the world. So really, really draw on parallels that you're finding in this book right now and in the world right now. And I think that we're going to find a lot. And if you read this book right, and you take your time, and you use all the resources that I'm going to give you, you're really going to enjoy it. So that is Alas Babylon. So if you're reading Alas Babylon, you're done. This is the end of the video for you. If not, we're starting 1984 right now. 1984 is one of my favorite books. I hated it when I read it in school because I didn't like my teacher. But after I got out of school, I realized just how good of a book it actually is. And I wish that I'd had a better teacher the year that I had it, because it is like scary relevant. It is a warning to citizens about government control. And I think it's so fascinating because this is what George Orwell, the author, thought was going to happen to America by 1984. And even though it's 2020, so he was definitely way off on his time scale, you're going to see a lot of the same things that he's pointing out. And it's very much a be careful what you do, because once you give up a freedom, you can't get it back. So I want you to take a very unbiased, critical look at this book and allow it to teach you from somebody who was from the past and looking at where he saw this country going. And I think it's still absolutely relevant today, especially going into an election year and with all of this pandemic drama and the politics that are involved in it. If you let yourself get into this book, you're really going to like it. And I promise that I'm going to give you resources to help explain things. And I hope that you like this book as much as I didn't like this book when I read it in school, but as much as I do enjoy it now. So if you've read 1984 as your book, you are done. This video is over for you. But if you are reading Caged Bird, this is where you're going to want to begin. I'm going to sneeze. Never mind. All right. Caged Bird. This is the one that if you're nervous about it, contact me and I will not make you read it. I wanted to go over all of this with you in school, but I didn't get a chance, and then I kept forgetting to go over it because you're not with me every day. It is on the approved book list for Polk County, so there's nothing wrong with it that way. It's just really realistic. And there are things that happened in Maya Angelou's life that are horrific. And she talks about them in her book. And I want you guys to be aware that this book is powerful, and it is honest, and it is good. But it has these parts of it that are just raw and very real. And I know that every single person out there has a different story. And so if anything is just too much for you to handle, you can skip it. You can skip those sections. They will not be sections which I draw our attention to. But I do think that there is something to be said about giving respect for the trials that she went through in her life to make her into this incredible writer and this incredible woman. Because her life in the mid-1900s as a young African-American girl, she experienced troubles that I've certainly never experienced, and most of you have never experienced, and I think it can give us a sense of appreciation for just how far our country has come and how far we still have to go, and also just looking at someone else's life who's had worse and seeing what she still became. So I think that it is absolutely something that you should read, but if you're not comfortable with it, I will put you in a different group. Just let me know. But it's such a good book. I really, really think that you'll enjoy it. So that's all that I have for you guys. I hope that you have a wonderful time, that you rest, and that you figure everything out with your other classes, and that this video wasn't too cringy for you. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.